Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the reaction log. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Now, I tried making this video previously, like an hour ago, but I got sidetracked with that Marvin interview, so now we're really in it. Nothing is going to take us away from our sweater-wearing, freaking Goodwill scarf, spiky-haired boy that is Jacob Collier. Whoa, look at that guitar collection. I bet they all sound not exactly the same. They are at least acoustic steel string guitars, so there will be some variation. But how about those guitars there? Whoa, all the same. So it's been a little while since we featured Jacob Collier, and you know, with all the jazz talk that's been going on, I feel like jazz is really buzzing. Might as well bring Jacob back into the mix. So what we're going to be looking at here is inside Jacob Collier's home studio, posted by Caleb Simpson. Yeah, and we're going to see where all the magic happens with all of Jacob Collier's music that I love. I know that you guys love it too. You guys love talking about how much you love his music. I'm just kidding. I feel like Jacob gets a really bad rap from like Sore Hands fans and other people too. The big complaint is that he has no soul, so maybe today we'll be moved a little bit. By the way, let me go ahead and introduce myself. I am a classical guitarist here on YouTube. What does it mean to be a classical guitarist? It means that the only way you can make money is by talking about Jacob Collier. It's a miracle that Jacob makes money with his music, honestly. Let's take a look at some of these comments before we jump into it, shall we? I love this man so much. He's somewhere in between Peter Pan and Willy Wonka. Wasn't Willy Wonka like kind of a bad guy? Didn't he like kill kids or something? Jacob went from standing to crouching just to match the interviewer. Haha, such empathy. What is Jacob, like 8 feet tall? I didn't realize that. Such a life lesson here too. If you play a note that feels wrong, you can put it in a new context that feels right. Yeah, that's a nice life lesson there. That goes for bad habits, bad relationships too. If you're unhappy with how people are treating you, just put it in the new light that you deserve it. Alright, how about we go ahead and jump into this video now, shall we? Sorry, everybody.
This is the mothership. I haven't opened this session.
Whoa, dude, Jacob showing him the mothership. Alright. Dude, it certainly is the mothership. This looks like a freaking Ferrari. Also, an actual camera for a webcam. Jacob, I need to do that. Do you guys know what you look like? Look at that. That's you right now. Don't you feel silly now?
Track count 897. Not too crazy. Decent. Chunky.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever getting over you.
Oh man, I think every one of those tracks was necessary too. That is the most Jacob sounding drop I've ever heard. Like, look at his face. He thinks it's a joke.
When the drop hits in the chorus, the like electronic drop, I literally put a sound that does that exact thing in here.
Yeah, okay. I mean, cool. You know, Jacob is kind of like the opposite of Marcin, because Marcin tries to do everything on just one instrument, but Jacob will use all the instruments in the world just to make one track. They're kind of one and the same. I wonder if they've ever collaborated on a concert before. I don't know if Marcin would do that. I know he's a one-man band, but I'm just saying.
So much to look at. Piano, drum set, guitars. Where do you spend the most time in this room?
In this chair.
In this chair?
I'd say, yeah. I've sat in this chair for like probably tens of thousands of hours.
It's like an office job. Just clocking in.
I think it is shaped to you.
It's probably molded to my back shape.
No,
this work shape.
Can I buy that chair?
Cables run in this tube here, which like you don't notice, but this tube goes all the way around the room into the back of this guy, sort of the brain.
Oh wow, it truly is the mothership, isn't it? Man, dude, he's got like a whole studio in here. I feel like calling this a home studio is an understatement. God, if something breaks in those walls though, oh, what do you even do with that? That sucks. Dude, also Jacob, just a glass of water on that desk is wild, dude. Something that I do hope they talk about, he has all of his instruments displayed, and I know that he lives like in the UK or something. I assume he does, right? How's the humidity in the UK? So relatively high humidity, so like around like 83 to 94% year round. I wonder how the humidity treatment is for this room, because I know he doesn't pack up all these instruments. They're all just out so he can grab them and stuff. Maybe he just uses the tried and true method of using cheap instruments. It's honestly a good idea.
These literal walls, they've seen me grow from nothing. So when I'm far away from home, collaborating with musicians or whatever, I often I can tune into the room, even if I'm really, really far away from here. So I can beam up and be like, got it. You know what I mean? Like, you can ask them for answers.
It sounds like this room is Jacob's god that he worships. So that's kind of interesting. You know, we all kind of have a god, one way or the other. This is his god. It's his room. He lives in it.
Any sanctuary, but it's a wise room. You can
literally a sanctuary.
So how many instruments do you think are in this room? Have you counted it?
That is a hard question. That's 30. I'd probably say there's another like 15 here. I'd probably say like 70 instruments, things that you can also use to make sound, is probably about 100.
Like those baskets. You'd probably bang on those baskets and it'd be like a drum. That's just a can of like coffee or paint or something there. That's an instrument. I think those are metronomes. I think that could count as an instrument. It's like a percussion instrument. You don't even have to play that one. You just set it and forget it.
Have you ever had panettone?
I'm glad they're addressing the can. Kind of makes me feel like Metallica recorded their album Saint Anger in Jacob Collier's studio here. Dude, I think they maybe did that. I think they had Jacob on that album and didn't credit him or something.
Cool, it's a cool sound, isn't it? It's like there's a song on the album called Sheep at Sunshine, which is the second song on the album, and this is actually in it. I'm typing something out. On the album is a bunch of Morse code, which I've become a little bit obsessed with. So it's like with the flashing lights and stuff like that.
There's a hidden message.
Yeah, so there are all sorts of hidden messages across the
Did
record.
the genie tell you to do that?
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of getting compulsive liar vibes from Jacob right now. It's like, you just tell him anything and he's like, yeah, dude, totally. That's what did it. I know he's joking. Jacob Collier is like every compulsive liar you meet, except he's the only one who's actually telling the truth. Because I believe everything he's saying, and he is legitimately amazing. But man, if you didn't know any of that about him and you just heard him talk, you'd be like, this guy is full of it. He's just straight up lying right now. I can tell. I can see it in his eyes. He's lying.
Appalachian Mountain Dulcimer.
Oh, that's where I grew up.
Oh shit. Is it really? You'll be more familiar than this than I am.
I would believe this guy grew up in the Appalachian Mountains.
Um,
Really? Have you never been to an antique store before? Huh.
See, you put this on your lap. That's a pick that I made myself. That I've definitely chewed. You can see it's like chewed by my teeth.
Chew marks on it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for handing this to me.
Really weird.
You strum here.
He doesn't like the sound.
It's not in tune, is it?
How can you tell what should be
better.
in tune and what shouldn't?
You listen to the beats. Kind of goes, and then you know it's in tune. So this is. That's much better. And there's no wrong notes on this instrument, which is kind of, I mean, there's no wrong notes on any instrument. It almost sounds like someone's yoking.
Yeah, dude. You better catch yourself when you say stuff like that. That's not a very Jacob thing to say. There's no wrong notes on this instrument. On other instruments, though.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but you see the frets are different sizes, and that means that there are only notes on
This guy is playing with no heart right now. Get into it, man.
this in one particular scale, which is like the D major. This scale?
The notion that there is no wrong notes, because I think that, well, certainly from my understanding of music, that's
Yeah.
something that you probably...
Yeah, that's not what my music teacher taught me. Is that true, Jacob? That's what I mean, the compulsive liar. It's just like, there's no wrong notes ever? Are you sure about that?
Well, certainly from my understanding of music, that's
Yeah.
something that you probably brought to the forefront of modern day.
Yeah, oh, well, thanks very much.
Dude, Jacob invented and made the idea of wrong notes being right popular. Sorry, atonal composers. Sorry, Schoenberg. Yeah, I don't know if saying there are no wrong notes ever is exactly what Jacob means. He will probably use every note and like a lot of in-between notes because he does a lot of microtonal stuff in his music. They aren't placed down willy-nilly. Now him, when he's playing his Appalachian dulcimer, those notes are willy-nilly. I guess what I would say is that there are only wrong and right intentions. If you intend to do something and then what happens is not your intention, that's wrong then, right? But you know, we're gonna hear Jacob explain that to these people who I assume aren't musicians, so it's just gonna be like a really basic, nothing explanation. But let's see.
And I think about music, learning music from teachers and whatever. I think there is this notion that, you know,
I thought you were self-taught, Jacob. What happened to that? We're teachers.
when you're writing music, when you're improvising music, you can play whatever you want, like anything you want. And there's no such thing as a right note and a wrong note. So even if I sit at the piano and I'm improvising,
I don't know, I'm hearing a lot of right notes there. I don't know about you.
and I might hit a note that is weird. So that sounds a bit weird, right? But I can make that note make
I bet you're gonna resolve it though.
sense.
So Jacob's just talking about the very old and very musical idea of like tension and release, like, you know, and some notes are more tense than others. For example, in like a major scale, if we're looking at like, all those notes are like correct as in they're in the scale, but if you play certain notes, like these for example, which is the 4th and 7th of the major scale, they sound kind of wrong and they're just tense, but they can resolve. So what makes a note right or wrong is not if it belongs to a scale, because I can improvise in a scale, like, I just played a scale. But every note between that octave is fair game, where it's like tension into the release, tension, release, tension, tension, release, tension. And it's all in there. But my intentions were to play those notes that are not in the scale, so that's what makes it not wrong. But if I'm trying to play a piece... Yeah, oh, whoops, that's wrong, right? Or even better yet, if you're playing changes over a jazz tune or something, and if your intentions are to resolve like one chord to the next in a way that is typical, and then you fail to do that, that would be wrong. And you can look at that as wrong. You don't have to look at everything as like, everything's allowed no matter what. And that's actually a really important thing to do, to set those parameters for ourselves, because that's what allows us to truly create and be expressive. With no parameters, you're just playing random notes. And with that, like, how do you express yourself? It's the difference between expressing yourself with like a free form, just journal entry, versus expressing yourself with the very strict form of a sonnet or something like that. Like, one of them, it's much easier to do, of course, but I don't look at somebody's journal entry, no matter how profound it is, as a beautiful piece of art. But if you can write a sonnet and express something really profound while sticking to the parameters of what a sonnet is, it's like Shakespeare then. It's like incredible. It's revered and remembered and read. And that's what people love about art, is that those parameters create beauty, because you can weave through the parameters with expertise and style. So these people behind the camera, they're hearing there are no wrong notes, but I don't think Jacob really means that. I think he probably means something closer to what I'm saying right now. And we can talk about this more in depth, because you guys are musicians, I assume, unlike the cameramen here. So Jacob's just kind of dazzling them with, you can play in a scale and then play a random note and then keep playing the scale, and that's allowed. And it's like, yeah, of course that's allowed. Like, nobody's gonna come to your home and like apprehend you for doing that. And anything's allowed.
Basically, just if you play a note that feels wrong, then you can put that note in a new context that makes it right, you know?
Yeah, but he meant to do that. He had full intentions to play that note, and in that it was this beautiful moment. But if you're doing that by accident and then trying to like figure out the context later, I feel like you're just in the realm of random at that point, which is not where Jacob is at all. Everything he does has intention. And if he claims it doesn't, it probably does to some degree that's maybe subconscious, you know?
Watching the BBC documentary on you, and there was a point where your mom was vacuuming, and then she was like, what note is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Did that happen a lot as a child?
Yeah.
That's funny too, saying that, because we think of a vacuum cleaner as something that produces white noise. If you don't know what white noise is, it's basically all frequencies at an equal, or I'm pretty sure it's like technically supposed to be all at an equal amplitude. But I'm sure there are many different kinds of white noise that you can have that are maybe like, they spike in different places and stuff. So if something is producing white noise, Jacob, no matter how perfect his pitch is, wouldn't be able to tell what pitch it is, unless there was one pitch in that white noise that was coming out more than all the other ones, so that it's like you can latch onto that. But without that, you could find any pitch in the white noise, and it's like, what pitch is this? The answer would just be yes. And I'm only saying that because I feel like I've heard perfect pitch stories where somebody will like bang on their leg and they're like, what pitch is that? I think I'm referring to like YouTube shorts here, where like someone will go like, oh, that's a G sharp there, and it's like, no, it's not. It's a bang. There's no pitch there. That's a pitch. But this is more like pa, pa. Which is closer to like white noise, because if you actually listen in there, there's a lot of stuff. There's a thump, there's air, there's that stuff. So it's this really wide spectrum of sounds that you're hearing in that. It's a lot of stuff. And now a pitch is like that too, but it's more organized. So unless the vacuum cleaner is like broken and producing like one pitch, I feel like Jacob wouldn't be able to tell much of a pitch from that, unless there was some frequency that was sticking out. Like, I don't know, let me get my vacuum cleaner, let's hear it. I guess it kind of does have a pitch. I'm hearing multiple pitches. And then... Oh, and the low one's kind of going up there. I guess it's kind of a really high G. It's not quite white noise, but you'll find that there's a lot of pitches going on in there. So saying like what pitch is this vacuum is a little bit weird. Same thing if you hear a car horn. Usually a car horn is not just one pitch either. It's like multiple pitches, or like a train horn. So if you were to ask like what pitch is that, it's like, well, it's a couple of them. I kind of forget the point that I was making with that, but hopefully that was kind of fun for you to watch. All right.
Child or adult. A lot of stuff makes sounds, like car alarms go off, or microwave.
Whoa, dude! Are you kidding me right now? I've never watched this, I promise. Car alarms. They sure do go off. Sometimes they sound like wee 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 wee.
You know, whatever. So one of the joys for me as a kid was because my mum has what's called perfect pitch, which is that she can identify any note without a reference
You have that too, Jacob.
point. So like, she knows that's an E flat. As a kid, would walk around the world and I'd get shown around.
Is that a vape? Does Jacob have a vape dangling around his neck? That's cool, dude. The kids are gonna love that.
The world of pitch by someone who knew. So yeah, for example, the Hoover. Or yeah, you say vacuum cleaner. You know, it's like, hey, what note does that feel like? And it would never be, you know, what note is that, or what note, you know, it's like, what does that note make you feel like? That note makes me feel like it's like this color, or it's kind of like this texture. So I say, well, that's kind of like maybe that's kind of like a G, or kind of like a D. And so gradually I kind of amassed this pitch memory where, so now I can identify any note that is in the world without a reference point.
That's a funny way to describe perfect pitch, Jacob. Yeah, if you make a kid identify pitches like that as a kid, you know, they're probably gonna end up being able to do that as an adult, I imagine.
Like everything in the world has like a inertia or momentum or a little personality. So like this rock, for example, and this juggling ball. It's like, are they friends? Yeah, I think they probably are friends. Or sometimes, oh, but I'm not, don't know about it. What's happened here? No, absolutely not. So like the process of kind of creating life out of things just by the way they interact with each other and feel is like a beautiful process.
Okay.
Beautiful process. My mum just opened my eyes, my ears to the idea that the whole world is kind of like speaking to you the whole time. Trees or the road or a car or Hoover or microwave, whatever it is.
My mom tried to convince me of that too, and now I'm not allowed to see her anymore.
So this is like a bridge from one world to another, but like this feels one way and this feels another way and this feels one way and this, you know, it's like there's so many different feelings and you can access them all via these chords. And I mean, I could talk for hours about this, but growing up, that was like a huge part of my learning. It was like,
Yeah.
everything is connected in that way from here.
You were just like beaming.
Yeah, I don't know about that. The only connection I need is black dots and paper. That's all I get. And I don't need to understand the connection because I just have to know how to play them on my guitar.
Fun to
That's
watch.
music.
Oh,
So
thanks
fun.
very much.
Speaking of beaming, you do have a new album coming out.
True.
And you were going to play something for us, I think.
Yeah.
That you were working on.
All right, Jacob's gonna show us his project on like Logic or whatever. This is very standard, like going to a musician's house vibes. They're like, "Do you want to check out my Logic project?" And I'm like, "No, not at all." But you're gonna show me, I bet. All right.
Okay, you ready?
This is my light, I'm gonna let it. I could be yours, I know you could be. I've been looking up when I'm feeling down. So my way on
It's pretty cool.
up in the sky, gonna shine like a star. When I'm feeling blue, then I think of you. This time I know that I'm gonna be. You got everything I need. I don't think I'll ever get over you. 'Cause you're all I think about. All around me, all I think about is you.
System overload.
System overload, the motherboard.
Oh no. Alright, I think we can end it there anyways. I think we heard enough of that one. Alright, that was Jacob Collier's home tour. What a bunch of fun that was. I don't know, we got anything more to say after that one? This video's been a long time coming. It's been interrupted at least once now. I think we can wrap this one up here. Of course, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. There's merch on Rutin's Delight, of course. If you want guitar lessons, classical guitar online lessons, I know some grad students if you would like those. I'm not teaching right now, I'm sorry. Too busy making videos, so you know how it is. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else? Comment, questions? Practice logs are going to be coming soon. I've been working hard on that fugue. You'll see that soon. Alright, well, I'll see you in the next one.